Hi guys! Today I'll be making one of my favorite things to make. This got me so excited. The whole day I just kept going each time I think about the fact that I'm making bread. But if you haven't guessed it, then you would have heard by now. I am making bread. I am making rosemary and olive bread just because I wanted something special and because I bought these olives and it says use within 2 weeks and I bought them last week, so so yeah. And if you're interested to watch this video, then please keep on watching. This recipe is so easy and so delicious. So yeah, let us begin. To a bowl, you'll add in 2 3/4 cups of flour and a 1/4 cup of bran. I'm adding this in for nutritional benefits. You don't have to add this in, and if you don't, then you can just make your flour fully 3 cups of flour. You'll also be adding in 2 teaspoons of dry instant yeast that you don't have to dissolve fully before. You just add it directly to your flour. And I'll also be adding in 2 teaspoons of brown sugar. I prefer brown sugar because it has more flavor, but you can use white sugar as well. I just like that malty flavor. I feel like it does something. It really does something. And also we'll be adding in our herbs. If you don't have dried rosemary, you can use whatever herbs you prefer also, or what you have on hand, or you can just skip the step completely. But like I said, I wanted to add some flavor to my bread because I was just really excited to make bread. So here I'm adding in 1 teaspoon of dried rosemary, and as well as some salt. I'm adding in 1 teaspoon of salt. The reason why I'm only adding in 1 teaspoon, whereas usually I'll add in 2 teaspoons, is because I am actually going to be adding in some of the water from the olive brine. I'll be adding in a 1/4 cup of that, and since it's salted, I didn't want my bread to be too salty. But you know, if that's not too salty for you, you can do 2 teaspoons of salt and olive brine juice. It's fine. And then to that I'll be adding in really good olive oil. You want to add in cold pressed olive oil just for the flavor, but since we're also adding on olives, then you don't have to really worry about the flavor of olive oil. I just think it really adds a nice dimension of flavor to your bread dough. So then you can just add in normal vegetable oil or just skip the oil completely. But I added in an 1/8 cup of olive oil, a 1/4 cup of brine juice as you saw, and 1 cup of warm water, as well as a 1/4 cup of our sliced olives. You're going to give that a nice mix until it is well incorporated, so that you can then transfer this dough of ball of wonderfulness to the floured surface. As you can see, I'm flouring my surface, and knead. You're going to do this kneading for about 10 minutes. I highly recommend kneading this and enjoying this opportunity to knead the dough, because it also is a stress reliever, so you can release all your stress, especially after the second rice when you punch out all the air. That's also very exciting for me. Yes, I can't afford therapy yet, so anyway, and you'll need this for 10 minutes and then let it sit in your bowl for an hour to proofrise. Unfortunately today it is a bit cold, so that meant it was a bit hard to find a warm place to put my bowl of dough in, and as a result it also took a bit longer to proofrise, to double in size as it's supposed to in the 1 hour that I usually provide for it. So I actually ended up needing about 1 hour and 45 minutes for it to double in size properly. So just check the temperature properly. If it's a bit cold in the room, then it might take a bit longer. I just greased my bowl to ensure it doesn't stick and doesn't get dry before I found a wonderful warm spot. I was actually happy when I found it, and put it in the warm spot to sit for basically 2 hours until it was doubled. After about 2 hours,
oh my gosh, I'm so excited.
and you have
Time to deal with this baby.
generously admired your dough that has doubled in size despite the very cold weather, you will take it to knead it for another 2 minutes or so. This one is very short because you're just taking out the air, and you don't want to take it all out, so you're just taking a little bit of it out. And again, this is an opportunity to release your stress as well. Really, that's why I love this part. And then you will shape it accordingly to your desired shape. Put it on a tray to proofrise again for an additional half an hour, and then bake it in your oven for 40 to 50 minutes. Just check that it is not burning or anything. And also another trick that I actually told you guys in my last bread video where I was making oatmeal, I think it was called sweet oatmeal bread, the moistest sweet oatmeal bread. I taught you guys this trick of putting a bowl with some hot water in your oven as well, to try and ensure that your bread doesn't get too dry on the outside and it can still retain its moisture, and also doesn't crust too early before it is baked thoroughly in the middle. So yes, that's also another thing that has to go in the oven besides this lovely dough after it has proof risen for half an hour. After half an hour, I took the liberty of decorating my bread with the sliced olives, as well as coated it with some cold water so that it could form that beautiful brown crust that we love on bread. And I also made a slit so that it can look artistic and artisan and beautiful and rustic. So that was the idea there. And ta-da!